like he had something called a fly mow, and I shit you not, it was a hovering lawnmower. Like, it was a literal hovering lawnmower, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's no wheels, nothing. And just the sheer speed of the blade gives it enough propulsion to literally, like, hover it above the lawn, and I'm just like, this is so cool, but it sucked because, well, the problem is if you have thick grass or anything, if it slows the blade down enough, the thing just fucking drops. Like, yeah. But it was so cool to watch him mow the grass, dude, because he just had this thing hovering, and it's like, what in the fuck? It was the coolest thing ever. This was probably 2006, 7, really weird.
That does sound pretty cool.
It was very interesting. I was blown away by it, because, you know, at that age, like, it's just, that's unconceivable. You know? It's like, what?
Yeah.
A hovering lawnmower? Now you think about it, it's like, that's fucking dumb. Like, as cool as it is, like, it's not practical at all.
Come on, dude. I know you military guys have, like, crazy shit.
No, not at all. Nope. Not at all. A lot of our equipment, and you gotta think, this is, when people say military grade, it bothers me, because military grade means the most decent product at the lowest price. It's not, we don't get the best of the best. They find something that's decent at the lowest cost, the lowest price. Because you got to think, they got to outfit every single person with that equipment. You're right. But it's not like, you, on the civilian side, you can get a lot better equipment than we do. Because ours, obviously, they have to be able to supply mass amount of people with it. And if they're buying this super great Gucci gear, they don't have the money to outfit everybody with that. So that's why, like, some units do get that, you know, like your SF units, they get shit like that. But, yeah, usual people. But I mean, our gear is good. Like, the M4 has served us, you know, well for 50 plus fucking years, and I love my M4. I don't have any issue with it. It's a reliable ass fucking weapon.
What would you say? What weapon is next level better as far as small arms?
Well, they're actually going over that right now. It's called the Next Generation Squad Weapon. It's more technology bound than actual small arms. I don't see small arms ever developing past the point where it's at now in terms of, you know, when you look at our history, you know, we went from cap and ball revolvers to self-loading rifles, you know, like that's a huge bound. Nowadays, it's like, there's really no next step. The only next step is like energy weapons, like something that shoots, you know, something that's not like a projectile. But the next generation squad weapon is more technology, so 3 of the things that they're working on the new caliber because they need something a little heavier, because body armor has been a huge impact in small arms. You know, obviously if, you know, 5.56 doesn't do very well against ballistic, like, plates. So, you know, no matter how much you shoot somebody, you're not really getting, you know, a kill.
Yeah.
So a lot of the new systems are, 2 of them are, it's between Vortex and Sig Sauer right now for the electronic optic. And the way it works is it actually has a laser rangefinder inside of it. And when you, it'll like automatically show you where you need to fire. Like, you aim your weapon at, you know, a target, and let's say it's 300, 400 meters away. There's obviously some drop with, you know, a projectile. So what'll happen, and then it'll count for wind and all this crazy shit. So imagine a red dot, but the dot moves. So it might put a dot way over to the left, and that's where you have to hold to hit that target.
Gotcha.
So it's like aiming
like
for you.
It's like a compact system that they able to.
Sort of. Literally imagine it like aim assist, like no shit. Like it. Like, you don't have to, you have to have no skill to use it. Literally, it does all the calculation and thought process for you. You literally just point.
Why don't they combine that with like an electronic trigger system to where you can ping a target and then you just rush them with your sight and fire to them?
There was works on that, but it's, when you start to integrate, because then you got to remember this too, is with all this new technology comes new problems. You now have to have somebody that can service these things, and then how durable are they? You know, like a bunch of fucking infantrymen can break just about anything. Like, really, they can. Like, so how long is it till it breaks or fails? Like, you gotta start thinking that. Now there is a new system which is the craziest fucking thing ever. So there's actually two parts to that. So they also have this new laser device on there, and they're actually developing something called the next generation goggles. And what it is it literally is like, it's got 4 cameras on top, and it's literally a HUD display. In real time, it'll show you like a map in the corner of it, like through these lenses. It'll show you your heart rate. It'll show you like all sorts of crazy shit. It'll show you a map of all your friendlies on the map, almost like a video game. It'll show you all that shit in real time, but it also allows you to aim your weapon without actually aiming your weapon, because on your fucking, well, yes and no. So on the weapon, on that laser, is actually a camera now, and you can actually like shoot around walls. You know, you can just point your weapon around the wall, and you don't actually have to expose your body. You can just look through the lens. But this also plays another bigger part, is communication. You know, as a squad leader, I can actually tune into my person's camera and see what they're seeing. So instead of them saying, hey, I got contact, you know, by this blown up tank, I don't have to second guess it. I can just pull up my screen, and so can higher up. So instead of higher up asking me what the fuck's going on, they can just pull it up and literally live stream what the fuck's going on, and they can get all the information they need just by watching and listening. Right, and then I can also ping locations. So on the big map, I can say, okay, I see this guy, boom, he's now marked, and now everybody in the fucking squad doesn't have to like worry, you know, trying to, you know, peekaboo find this, you know, this person we're talking about. They can just literally, it's just there. It's like, okay, he's right there, right here, you know, and it really opens the floodgates of, you know, proficiency. You know, it really helps with communication and just speed and all sorts of crazy shit.
That would be a nightmare to fight against.
Well, that's what we're in progress with right now, and it's looking like it's going to pass in terms of wow, I'm really not getting this down. It looks like it's going to be successful. It's just, but it also has night vision and thermals inside of it. So instead of having to outfit every troop with night vision that's detachable and, you know, could get lost, like, it's all integrated into this new goggle system. It's really fucking cool. It's going to cost a fuck ton of money, but it's it really will change warfare. But then again, you know, the biggest scare too is that's a lot of technology, and you know, the technology could be reliable, but when you start training decades long of people relying on that technology, what happens when someone finds a way to cut it off? You know, they find a way to fucking short it out or jam it or whatever. Now you got a bunch of dudes who don't have optics. They don't have fucking the ability to communicate like they've been trained to do. So now they got to go back to this old school style, and it's kind of scary. Right, and it's kind of scary because it's like, you know, what happens? You know, I mean, even right now, think of like an EMP kind of shit went off. Like, how fucked would we be? You know, we don't have no comms now. We got to figure out how we're gonna fucking, you know, we got to do everything by hand and by map, and it's like, it just really would be not a very viable option. So, if the more ingrained we get in this technology, it just becomes more and more of a scare factor. Like, you know, and like I said, whenever we do go to war with a large country, you know, a near peer country, that's probably what it's going to be, is trying to destroy each other's fucking equipment, trying to destroy each other, like block each other out, jam each other, like all that shit. You could
just design your equipment in such a way that it can be, you know, easily countered, or you can easily, I don't know.
Well, that's the technological advance, you know. It's like, you know, we make our equipment very hard to crack, but I mean, there's always a way. I mean, you look at websites, you look at agencies that have their, you know, their fucking servers hacked or fucking, you know, broke into, viruses, all that's, like, people will find a way to do it. And you can design as much, you know, hot fixes and all sorts of stuff to try to block people out, but you look at like you know, Warzone, same deal. Like,
what I mean is, say for example, an EMP happens, and it crashes your equipment.
Yeah.
What if you just design your equipment with a central node that connects all electronics, but it acts as an air breaker, so it absorbs the wave into itself, and then is destroyed, and you just replace it, just slip another node in.
Because electronic magnetic pulses don't just, they fry all electronics. Like it's like a giant electrical shock, and it just literally fries everything. Like
Right,
even if you like did a special coating, which they obviously talk about doing special coatings and stuff, it's still not. There's still no way to, because then, you know, how long until they develop it to where it does destroy our shit, you know, like, and then, like I said, it's going to be a battle non-stop of trying to, you know, counter each other's counters.
You ever heard of graphene?
Yeah.
So, graphene is like a different material, aside from like the regular microchips and stuff.
Right.
You can use graphene because it's not a conductive material. And then you can put like a single conductive node inside your equipment. The communication hub, so it allows the equipment to run, but you know you make it like a battery, you know, so that entire thing absorbs the impact from the EMP, and then you just put another one.
I mean, theoretically, yes, but that's a lot of.
You can carry like a pack of like 3 of them. And like,
well, right, but now if I'm carrying that pack, aren't they all going to get fried too?
Yeah, but I mean, you can make that pack like EMP shielded. Yeah.
But then what if they do like jamming? What if they're like find a way to scramble the signal, and now, you know, that person's headset is no longer, you know, usable because of a jammer in the area? You know, there's a lot of that too. Huh?
How would a jammer work though? If it's...
What do you mean? Scramble electronic signals, put out a very large amount of hertz that will cause something. Like, I don't know if you've ever fucked with a computer, but if you actually, like, if you have the ability to overclock your computer, if you go over the hertz amount, like, your screen will just freeze, and you'll get like these crazy green and weird lines like through your screen, because it's like the computer's literally like burning itself apart because it's too high. And that's how a lot of jammers work. It'll jam signals because, again, these electronic systems have to communicate between each other. So how does it communicate? Like, it's got to use some type of bandwidth. So, and then jammers can, you know, jam bandwidth. It can scramble it. So, you know, that guy just called the V1 right on Bravo. I just watched him do it.
You could incorporate like a counter node.
You can do that, but how long until someone finds a way to counter that counter? That's what I'm saying. Like, you can even look at today's military. There's always counter to counter to counter this, how you counter that, and all sorts of shit. Like, it's just worrisome because right now we're not super ingrained with technology to the point where, like, we solely rely on it.
Yeah.
When we get to that point,
node, it would create like a bubble around a certain area. It would displace those waves, so you can still use your. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I don't know how viable that would be in terms of where we're at right now, but I could definitely see that being a plausible option.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't even have to be like heavy use. It would create like a counter signal, you know, like using white noise to cancel out noise. Same premise applies to bandwidth.
Right. Thanks. Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit, man. It's like I said, it's just a lot of it's unfathomable, you know, because we haven't dealt with it, we haven't had it, and so there's a lot of, you know, what if questions. And obviously that's not going to go away until, you know, because you got to think people in World War II were probably like, night vision, what the fuck is that? You know, like,
yeah,
what the fuck? And now it's like such commonplace. It's like you don't even think about it. It's literally just night vision.
I saw this video of this weapon system and it was basically you know the drone swarm.
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, so it was like a drone swarm, but they were all the size of like, I don't know, Coke